think it's time for more action. Igbo leaders have sent a strong message to Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, the president of Nigeria, concerning the struggle of Biafra in the southeast zone. They advised President Muhammadu Buhari to avoid making regrettable mistakes in dealing with the Biafra struggle in the southeast zone of Nigeria, a geographical expression, a contraption that has expired for over a long time now. It has expired. A former governor of Imo State sent a message to the president during a public service lecture sometimes in 2019. It's an award series ceremony of the University of Ibadan Alumni Association held in Owerri, capital of Imo State. In Oakim's message to Buhari, he said that Buhari should not make the same mistake of Britain when they were dealing with the Northern Ireland. He said, because of its security implications, all I would like to say here is to advise our present political leadership to avoid the mistake the British made with Northern Ireland. As you all know the story and what happened in Northern Ireland, they had to break away forcefully, and it was not a joke. Now, in Northern Ireland, the British made an avoidable mistake. They fell into the trap of believing that because they had power, because the power is vested on the crown, and because they have control of weapons, soldiers, and experience, that they would definitely dwarf all insurgency. It did not matter what the people thought of them. History tells us that Britain could not defeat Northern Ireland insurgents. In fact, they did a lot. They did a lot. They sacrificed a lot to get themselves off from the United Kingdom. Now, they couldn't defeat Northern Ireland insurgency for more than 20 years. Peace negotiation did the magic. For example, President Yar'Adua heeded this advice and succeeded with the Niger Delta Militants and Amnesty Program. Leadership is essential. It's selfless and more often than not a thankless enterprise with a price to pay. Oftentimes, the price is heavy, as the case of Mandela. Ordinarily, it should be taken that with the abundance of human resources at the disposal of the country, Nigeria should be able to record quantum leap in development. But you know what it is all about: selfishness, greed, self-centeredness. Imagine the number of great brains and human capital across the globe who are Nigerians. Just go to the United States of America, go to the United Kingdom, go everywhere. You will always find Nigerians, and they are performing excellently in all fields. Yet, back home, the fate of the country is determined and defined by certain individuals that we can actually call them mediocres, evil, wicked people. These individuals are obviously square pegs in a round hole. The motion without movement, the harvest of failure, inertia and rudderlessness, that is the hallmark and development streak of this country. And this may forever be what it is, unless we decide to carry our cross, and we must carry that cross. 40 million unemployed youth, which Buhari was asked during the United Nations Summit on Climate. He was asked, what are your plans for the huge amount of youth that you have in your country? And Buhari lost it. He couldn't answer the question because he has no plan for the youth. He doesn't even understand what the question actually is. Anyway, 40 million unemployed youth, a 30% increase in the divorce rate. Nigeria has the largest extreme poverty population in the world at the moment, with 87 million living in extreme poverty. And many of them have come up to tell us that it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing there. I don't know what to say about this. Many of them have come up to say that we do not have that extreme poverty as the some international organization has brought up the index and numbers. They said that we do not have it, do not mind what they are saying, but people are actually having issues at the moment. Nigeria shockingly has a murder rate of 9.85%. You see a lot of people commit suicide. In the area of environment, the annual rate of deforestation in Nigeria today is approximately 4%, which is about 400,000 to 450,000 hectares per year. Nigeria therefore has the highest rate of deforestation in the world. Again, we are now faced with rapid desert encroachment. They claim that this is affecting the Sahel, and that is the reason why we have F1NALLYs all over the south, because of the issue of lack of rainfall and water and all of that. We are now faced with rapid desert encroachment affecting 15 states in Nigeria. For example, out of 909,000, about 909,890 kilometers square of our country land area, about 600,000 kilometers square, or 65.94% of our total land area is totally completely lost to desert encroachment, and there is nothing that is done to solve any of this. How long shall we continue in such? How long shall we continue in a life where there is no future, there is no plan? This is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible. I don't know. So this country has had over time, this country from 1960 till date, the structure has been put in place in a way that it doesn't benefit the citizens of the country, and eventually people will definitely agitate for a break from the nation. I want to believe that a lot of people have not educated themselves, or they are not open-eyed enough to realize what they are losing at every minute. Every second counts in the life of every human being. If you do not get what you need to get at that particular moment, you might end up not having it any longer. It is time for people to rise up. It's time for people to strive forward towards progress. And the only way we can get this progress is by making sure that this country breaks apart. There is no restructuring that can put Nigeria in place. Nigeria cannot be put in place because the system, the foundation itself is not in order. So how can you restructure? How can you restructure? You have to do a total build-up, a new build-up of the system. And that can be done from within, not from outside. It can be done from within. Everyone, you need to begin to shine light inside of that dark recess of yourself and begin to see what you are supposed to. Educate yourself more, not just the school education. Educate yourself more. Realize what you deserve as a person. You shouldn't be the kind of person that many of those politicians will come give you a bag of rice. I wouldn't blame people anyway, because hunger has been used as a weapon. And when hunger has been weaponized, when they make sure that education is not even accessible, and a lot of people are not educated, at the end of the day, you will realize, you will believe that what is on ground is what it is. And many of the clerics are not helping. Churches, mosques, they are not helping because they keep saying and speaking in a certain way as if what your life is at the moment is exactly how God wants it. It's your destiny. It's the road to your life. That is what it is. And they believe that with the affluence and the wealth, probably the politicians or any of these people that are stealing money, or the pastors or the Islamic cleric or whoever, they believe that the private jet and the exotic cars and that very big mansion that they live in, it is their own destiny. That is what has been written for them. But you, as a peasant, you are required to stay in that position that you are in. But you do not understand that that is not what it's supposed to be. You are not destined for such. You have only accepted out of ignorance to remain a slave in your mind and to physically remain a slave. Why can't everybody wake up one day and decide for themselves? Is it because an average person will want to oppress the other person, even though they do not have that power as president, governor, and any of the political position? Probably you are occupying a specific position. Probably in your compound, you think you're the only one that has that. I better pass my neighbor. Imagine the name, I better pass my neighbor. This name simply shows that an average person, an average Nigerian, typical Nigerian wants to oppress the other person. So that is what we see being played around. So that's why I said we should come from within. We should begin to change our mindset from within, because many of these politicians came from a family too. Somehow they must have practiced the same pattern of life, and they came up to become, an honorable, a senator, House of Assembly. They became something, and they now manifested that thing very boldly in the ways they handle things. Many of them are clueless. Many of them are just wicked. Many of them are educated, but they choose what they want to do, and what they've chosen is something detrimental to the lives of the people. So the Igbo leaders are all coming out. IPOB is there already, speaking truth to power. agitating for a breakaway from Nigeria. It has been proscribed, but then it doesn't stop the leader and the comrades of this group to move around, to talk, and to also express themselves. They are definitely going to come up with a 1 million march in the United States of America to show the world what is really happening. Not because some people don't know, but at least to let it become more bolder. And I also expect that people from the southwest of Nigeria, I mean the whole of the south, there's not like, let us end this story of South, Niger Delta, and all of this. Yes, I understand that people have their identity, but if the south can come together as one and break, but then we cannot do this if you don't educate yourself. If you don't realize that little generator you switch on, or probably you're earning salary, or you have a way for some years, and you think life is good, and then every other thing happening in the country does not matter. It's time for people to rise up and do what they need to do. Anyway, that is what it is for now. If you're not a member of this channel, let us grow it together by you tapping on the subscription button and the red notification icon bell below. It would alert you whenever videos are uploaded.